G. I'm holding conversations, tapping the mental. We tryna build like a king. Sit down with G Connect, gotta think. While spitting the game with bees, I got a shout out today. I'm too young and do it all for the G. I'm holding conversations, tapping the mental. We tryna build like a king. Sit down with G Connect, gotta think. While spitting game with the bees.
Wes, and though, yeah, we tapped in, baby. We tapped in with who? The Generation Conversation, man. Y'all need to be a part of the convo. You heard me? Hey, look, shout out G2 Beats. My boy Bill blasting them over there, putting in that work. You heard me? Hey, look, y'all need to tap in. Generation Conversation, the G Connect. Subscribe to him on YouTube. You heard me? And just know, we don't Jersey.
Oh, this your boy, Shady Ray the Sinister. I want to shout out that G Connect and my homie G2Bs, bringing that funky, raw, no-cut shit to the streets. You already know I'm fucking with you, and I salute you, homie. Whoa.
Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Jad. I'm out here rocking with G Connect. You know what I'm saying? Just had a wild little conversation. You niggas tune in, man. You gonna get something special from the boy. See me out here, man. Icy. Courtesy.
What it do, man? What it do, folks? It's your boy G2Bs. And your homeboy D-Nail was happening. And we are Generation Conversation Network, better known as G Connect. And today we tapping in with the only one, the one and only.
Yes, sir.
The regime general, Mr. Yukmouth himself. What's happening, fella?
Hey, man, thanks for having me on Generation Conversation, man. My OG, you know, we just shot the video at your crib in the backyard with all them old schools and classics, bro.
Man,
I owe you one, man. So I told you at the shoot, you said, I got a podcast. I'm like, nigga, line it up, period. So here we go, my dude. You know what I mean? I'm a man of my word.
And we appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So I'm going to start off with some questions, if you don't mind.
Let's get it going.
Yep. Where were you born?
Wow, Oakland, California, man. East Oakland. I was born in Highland Hospital. You know what I mean? Right in the heart of East Oakland. You know what I mean? That motherfucker is like the Martin Luther King Hospital. You go there for a motherfucking stab wound, you might die.
like a hospital we had called Killer King.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you motherfuckers dying that motherfucker from the stab wound. So you do not want to go. I got shot, went there, and they didn't take the bullet out, nigga. They just left it in me. Like, they didn't know what to do. Like, nigga, get the bullet out of me, motherfucker. So, I still got a bullet in me. You know what I mean? So, that's the type. But I was born in a hospital. At least they know how to deliver babies. You know what I mean?
That's right. What school did you go to?
A multitude of schools, man. You know, I was in the projects all my life, the 65th Village, East Oakland. That's like the equivalent to the Watts, you know what I mean? The what's it called? The what's that in Watts? The projects in Watts? The Jordan Downs.
Jordan Downs.
So it's like the Jordan Downs. It's like two-story and one-story flats, you know what I mean? Projects. So I come from there. Right across the street from my projects is our elementary and our junior high school. Havenscourt and Lockwood. So I went to Lockwood and I went 1 year in Havenscourt and started going somewhere else. Westlake, and that's where I met Numbskull, my rapping partner for the Loonies.
Okay. Who did you grow up listening to?
Oh man, you know, your moms and your dad and your grandma, they play all the oldies. So, you know, all the oldies and shit definitely influenced, you know what I mean? But definitely as far as hip hop, man, shit, man, like New York kicked that shit off. You know what I mean? So I was more into the New York shit until NWA came and Ice-T came. You know what I mean? When Ice-T, Too Short, NWA came, you know what I mean? Then I got into the real West Coast shit. But it was New York. It was Run DMC. It was LL Cool J. It was Rakim. It was KRS-One. And it was Kane. You know, that was my favorite niggas, you know, straight up. Then when NWA came, man, it was Cube all the way and DOC. You know what I mean? And then fucking Ghetto Boys came. It was Scarface all the way. You know what I mean? So there were different levels and different periods of time and different eras of rap, but the beginning, that was the dudes I was fucking with.
When did you start rapping?
I say like around 88. When I met Numbskull in junior high school, I met him like in the 8th grade. And everybody knew how to rhyme and shit, but Numb knew how to rap. He was a fucking lyricist at fucking 15. And we had a group called Brothers with Potential. BWP, you know what I mean? And it was a crew of us, you know what I mean? Crew of little 8th grade, 7th grade niggas, 9th grade niggas rapping. And we was killing shit at the motherfucking Them shit's called talent shows. Every time it was lunch, motherfuckers circling around us, you know what I mean, watching this rap. So basically in junior high school, but I was playing with the shit, you know what I mean, since I was little, since I first heard it, you know what I mean, just rhyming.
By any chance, is it possible you remember your first song that you wrote?
Oh, definitely. It was about our fucking manager. Like my uncle had a crack house, man, downtown Oakland. So I was living in a crack house. And his apartment was in the basement, and the manager lived in the basement. And this was a funky cold Medina. This motherfucker was funky monkey. So he'd come knocking on the door for rent, and you'll just smell the whole fucking, like, 70s funk is different from funk right now, like being musty. Like, it's a real sword funk to that shit. And he had an afro. He was this a soul brother with this hella stanky, right? So I made one called POOF. POOF mean he had the afro, and then he was stanky like a fucking, like a nigga from the swamp. You know what I mean? So that was my first rap. It was about the fucking manager of the fucking apartment building where my uncle was slanging crack, where we stayed at. So when you, I'm not gonna, don't ask me to say that rap. Fuck
no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I'm gonna give you your prop because a lot of people don't, or proclaim they don't remember that.
Nah, I remember what started.
I may not remember word for word, verbatim for myself, but I remember my first song.
I remember word for word of this motherfucker. It was so cornball and so JJ Faddish. I'd never say that shit again. Y'all niggas be like, yuck, no. So it took development. You know what I mean? When I first started rapping, it was more on some like battle rap shit. We was battling. So it was about punchlines and shit like in the 80s. Like niggas just now getting on punchlines now. So when we came in the game, like in the 90s, our punchline game is up because we was doing punchlines since the fucking 88, 89, like before it was popular. You know what I mean? So just having to learn how to structure my shit from back then made me better. You know what I mean? When I actually started, really got in the business, you know what I mean? Because I was prepared for the shit, you know what I mean? Because I practiced so much rapping against niggas, you know what I mean? And all the other shit. So when I got into my famous beefs with motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like I come from that, rapping in circles and battling niggas in Berkeley. Like everybody in the Bay Area, in the Bay used to go to Berkeley. The spot, you know what I mean? Buy Blondie's pizza every fucking weekend, every Saturday. Everybody catch the bus up, get a ride out there. You got the top MCs in the Bay, like from fucking Frisco, Richmond, Oakland, nigga, fucking Vallejo niggas will come out there. It was the hub for niggas that were just rapping and the motherfuckers is battling their ass off. And I come that motherfucker and destroy that bitch with no sweat. You know what I mean? So, I come from that, you know what I mean? So when I was doing my battles and shit with people, with other rappers and shit, I got to that element. So all the shit that I learned when I was little is the shit that I really implemented when I start rapping professionally, you know what I mean? So it's like being trained, like in karate, you're a black belt, yellow belt, green belt, orange belt, blue belt. So I was a yellow belt, green belt. And then when I started rapping, I finally became a fucking black belt, you know what I mean? But it took levels to get there, you know what I mean?
G2Bs, a generation conversation. If you ain't got the patience, get on.